This is KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are from the upcoming RHCR Theater. That's Rich Heritage of Cedar Rapids theater production of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Amy Renstrom. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Nice to have you here. And Matt Ford, who is the founder and producer, head producer, chief cook and bottle washer, janitor.
That's
I'm
right.
sure, yeah.
That's more appropriate.
Of RHCR Theater. Before we dive into Cuckoo's Nest, give me the quick elevator speech on the design and mission of RHCR Theater.
RHCR Theater is a small local live theater group. Our vision is to bring movies to the stage. So everything you're going to see that we do right now, we're trying to do shows that either were a movie first, then made into a play or musical, or they were on Broadway first and then turned into a movie, because it goes both ways these days. Sometimes because we have a shortage of original ideas, they like to turn things in, like Hairspray, which was a regular John Waters quirky little movie. Let's turn it into a musical.
Yeah.
So
and then a movie.
Right.
Again.
So One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was a book. Then it was a stage play and then a movie.
Written by Ken Kesey, right?
That's correct. I would say the play follows more the book than it follows the movie. So if you're familiar with the movie, you're going to see different characters, a little different setup for some scenes, but it's the basic same story.
And Amy, you play the character of Nurse Ratched.
Yes.
One of the all-time great movie villains,
I know.
even though there's not a weapon or a blown-up building in sight.
Her weapon is all up in her brain.
A little typecasting, but that's okay.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. But no, I was very honored to be cast in this role because it's so meaty. And, really trying to delve into her backstory and figure out what makes her tick. It's been a challenge, so I hope I can do it justice.
This is, and it's an interesting choice, too, because I remember, when I was a youth and this movie first came out in the mid-'70s, I mean, it was a piece that was referred to and parodied, and it was just a part of, the pop culture lexicon probably for 15 years thereafter. But now, not quite so much. So probably had to refamiliarize yourself with everything. Did you watch the movie?
I did. I know there are some people when they prepare for a role, they don't want to do that because they want everything to be original. But, I knew that Louise Fletcher had won the Academy Award for playing Nurse Ratched, and I just wanted to get a sense of what she did. And her acting is amazing because she literally has a completely blank, flat affect, but yet is able to convey just the control over these patients, and it's an amazing performance.
That's got to be a challenge as an actress, because on the one hand, the way the character goes is very emotionless, very proper, very I'm just treating my patients, but also evil.
There's something incredibly insidious about her, and so the challenge is to have the lines come across not in a boring monotone, but to have that undercurrent of, I'm trying to control these patients. I like to stir things up. I mean, she really likes to stir up drama and then back away and watch the chaos that happens in the inpatient ward. She's evil. She's evil, but not two-dimensionally evil. If you read the book, you learn that she was a nurse in the Army. And so that maybe talks about how she likes things regimented. And also she probably saw some horrible things. And maybe, that's influenced who she is. One really interesting quote I read from Louise Fletcher is, if you look at her hairstyle in the movie, it's kind of like an Andrew's sister kind of flip. And she said, when I saw that hairstyle, I knew that life had stopped for Nurse Ratched a long time before. So, whatever happened to her in her backstory, it's something bad to make her act the way that she does now.
Talking with Amy and Matt about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which was an Oscar-winning film. You mentioned Louise Fletcher, and this was a breakout role for Jack Nicholson too. He won the Oscar.
Correct.
Yes?
Yeah, in 1976.
It won. It's one of the few movies that has won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress. Silence of the Lambs, another Great.
Oh, yeah. Let's bring that to the stage.
Another-
I'm an audition for that.
You can be Buffalo Bill.
Okay. Good. Because I love nudity on stage. You know me.
It's one of those few films that that has done that. Michael Douglas was one of the executive producers. His little line, he was talking to his dad one day, but he wanted to do more than just Streets of San Francisco. I want to do more than just TV acting, and his dad had read this book and said, you need to option the rights to this movie because it's going to be huge.
Oh, so that was probably one of the first offstage things he did.
Yes, it was. It was his very first gig because he used some of his Streets of San Francisco money to buy the rights to Ken Kesey's novel. Christopher Lloyd, Doc Brown from Back to the Future is in it.
Danny DeVito.
A lot of people that you don't necessarily recognize, maybe because they're so young, but Danny's still working. Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So that's what appealed to me when I was younger, even though it came out right after I was born. I loved it as when I was in high school because these great actors. I mean, it was such a piece.
When I watched a One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Where Are They Now? YouTube video, and one of the characters, it says, woman standing on pier, and she's just an extra, and she's looking out over the pier, and it's Angelica Houston. So she was cast as an extra in that movie, and then obviously went on to great things. So.
Well, movies on stage is I love that as kind of a framework around which
it's our niche.
To kind of
it's our little
to kind of build the build kind of the structure of what you're doing. So, and of course, Matt, I know you're just kind of producing. You're not directly involved in the day-to-day operations of the show. But for both of you, it takes place in the 60s. Are we keeping it in the period or updating it a little bit?
As much to her dismay, the blue and
she's got the
pink
got
hair.
the Andrews sisters wig thing happening.
This will not
the
be.
faux hawk will not make it onto stage.
This will not be her look, but yes, we are keeping it to the period, which has also been a challenge. As always, when we do these shows that were done back in the 70s and earlier, the smoking is the one thing, because especially in this one, it takes place in a mental institution, and I don't mean to generalize or stereotype, but there was a lot of, back in the 70s, my mom was, she was a nurse, and I remember going to visit her at the hospital, and there was a room just like this where the nurses did their charting, and you could smoke in the hospital. So then to bring that to an enclosed space where it is now 2017, and we do not do that anymore.
Frowned on and illegal.
Yes, both. I hope the fire marshal's not watching, but we're not, there's always a challenge. Luckily, with technology, electronic cigarettes, stage cigarettes and things like that, we're able to overcome that, but it's just stuff you don't think about.
Yeah, production that I was in high school, what was The Odd Couple, and the two directors, the adult directors, the teachers, would smoke through a couple of stogies right before the show started so that when the curtain opened on the original poker game, it was really smoky.
Oh, what a sacrifice on their part.
Yeah.
That was really nice of them.
And again,
they're dead now.
Not something you could do today. Well, the show is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and when does it open?
It opens the last weekend in April and the first weekend in May. For the very first time, RHCR is able to offer shows this season 2 weekends. We used to we're only able to afford 1 weekend. And if you had a wedding or if you were just going to be out of town, you missed it. So this way, this show will have 5 performances, and hopefully then it'll have an opportunity for more people to see it.
And where will it be staged?
It is at a brand new venue called The Village, 45 16th Avenue Southwest. That's not a new building. It's an old building. It was built back in the late 1800s. It was actually a Studebaker dealership. I went and did the research. It was a lot of different things. But it was most formerly the Artisans Sanctuary.
Okay.
Before the flood, it was the Salvation Army down in Czech Village. And a new owner has bought the building, replaced the roof, fixed the HVAC, redone the entire inside, and it's now going to be a pop-up shop in the front and a performance venue in the back.
So kind of it will be kind of a black box?
Kind of.
Or is it, do you have
there will be a stage. Yep. 2 foot off the ground. Okay. So it's not a huge stage, but it's exactly the kind of experience theater that I like to do. We are not as much as I love a show like Chicago, love the music, love the spectacle, that's just not who we are. There are other theaters in town who can much better execute something that grand. I like the experience theater where you go, like a black box experience, Dennis, where you go and you're really invested in it. When we're still talking, I'm talking with Carrie Covington, the director, who is just amazing, by the way. I let her put in that little plug for her. About the final scene, and no spoiler alerts, I'm not going to say anything. We're still arguing because I want it to be in the face. I want it to be right in the audience, and we'll see. It's her show, so she'll decide. But
well, it'll be
I love that theater.
It'll be an intimate experience, definitely. So you'll be right there in the middle ward.
Right.
With everybody.
Which is not a far step for some of the cast.
Very true.
It's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest the weekend of April 28th, and then the first weekend in May in the Village, new space in Czech Village. And if people want tickets, where's the website and phone number?
It's just RHCR Theater, and that's RE, not ER, because we're a group, not a building. RHCRtheater.com. You can get your tickets there. There's a link there. You can click at the bottom of the page and buy tickets. If you must call, if you have questions, you can. The phone number is on the contact page of the website.
Okay. All right. Matt and Amy from RHCR Theater and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Thanks for coming in today, and good luck with the show.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Dennis.